Welcome to the Winning Family Podcast with Rodney and Michelle Gage, a podcast designed to help you build winning relationships in your marriage and with your kids. My name is Dr. Linda Travelute, and I'm your host for the Winning Family Podcast. And since this is our very first episode, we want to say thank you. Thank you for joining us, and it would mean the world to us if you would subscribe to our podcast and rate it, review it to let us know if the content is helpful and encouraging. And also, hey, share these podcast episodes with your family, with your friends, and you're going to want to wait to the end. We've got an incredible surprise for you. We're going to give you an opportunity to get a free copy of Rodney and Michelle's new book called Family Shift, the 5-step plan to stop drifting and start living with greater intention. It's a super helpful book, and we want to get a copy into your hands absolutely free. So today, I am excited because I am joined with Rodney and Michelle Gage, and we're going to be talking about getting a vision for your marriage and family. Guys, can you believe this? It's the first episode.
The inaugural
we are so
podcast
excited.
episode.
That's right.
Well, we should cheer or something,
yes,
right?
man, that's
Right?
like,
Get our
come on,
coffee.
let's do
Coffee
it.
mugs.
Little
Here we
celebration.
go.
Love it.
Dr. Linda, thank you so much for hosting the
My
podcast.
pleasure.
We're thrilled to have you with us.
Thank you.
And for those who may not know who Dr. Linda Travelute is, she is an amazing, amazing coach, mentor, executive leader. What an incredible wealth of wisdom you have.
That's right.
So we're excited to be able to partner together and learn from each other and be able to impart words of help and hope and encouragement to those that are watching and listening, and really being a part of something we're excited about with the new Winning Family Podcast.
Awesome. Thank you guys for letting me be a part.
Yes, absolutely.
absolutely.
We're excited for this journey.
No one we would have preferred to be our host more than Dr. Linda
That's
Travelute.
right.
You,
That's right.
You guys, I've paid them to say all this, right? No. All right, let's get rolling here. We're going to talk about a vision for marriage and family. And I love that we're beginning this whole podcast series with this topic, start with the end in mind, because that's what we're doing right here today.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
You know, and just to, when you think about that, start with the end in mind as it relates to even the podcast in and of itself. You know, we have a vision for what we want to accomplish with the podcast, and we are starting with the end in mind, in that we're taking a journey together. And we certainly don't claim to be experts. You know, we don't claim to be, the perfect couple or parents or family by any stretch of the imagination.
So glad we got that out of the way up front.
The pressure is off,
The
right?
pressure's off.
Yes.
We have failed and fallen on our faces countless times. And so we can all relate to that. So we're all fellow strugglers. We're all in the same boat. And really, it is our prayer and desire that we would truly be a source of encouragement, because parents and couples today, I think, are often feeling overwhelmed by so many stresses, so many outside forces that are working against them. And, when you think about it, today's family is losing in many respects. Things have changed so much. I think COVID, has certainly put the spotlight on a lot of challenges. And obviously, it's not only disrupted the world and disrupted our lives, and everybody's had to adjust and pivot. And now hopefully we're starting to get back into normal ways, as whatever normal means. But with all that said, I think it has even exacerbated so many of the underlying issues that may have been kind of swept under the rug or maybe minimized, but now it's kind of been thrown out there in the spotlight. And now I think it's got everybody's attention, because we see the decline that has a ripple effect on so many different levels. It's affected not only marriages, it affected our kids, but now mental health issues, so many moral issues, racial issues, all of the stuff that, like I said, has kind of like emerged, I think, from COVID over the last couple of years. And so many people are asking questions. Parents are confused. They're trying to figure out, how do we talk to our kids about all of these complicated conversations that we didn't have to talk about when we were growing up, or my spouse, is struggling with this, or, the demands that we're carrying because we're all just stretched, we're maxed, we're burning the candle at both ends. So I could go on and on and on, but with all that said, it's as though today's families are losing ground. And our prayer and our vision for the podcast is, how do we win again as families? How can we help couples? How can we help parents start winning in their relationships, start winning spiritually, start winning with the choices that they make to help them reach their full potential? And so, obviously we're a faith-based, biblically based podcast. We're not going to apologize about that. And we just really believe with all of our hearts that God's word has the answers. And we just have to seek God's wisdom and guidance and look to him, lean on him, depend upon him more than ever before. But on a practical level, we need to encourage each other in the process and learn from each other with the different tips and helps and experiences that we can draw from to pass on to other people as well.
That's right. And I think we come to the podcast with a little bit of moral authority because we've been married for almost 31 years now. And we have 3 adult children that are 26, 24, and 21. And 2 of those are married. So we've kind of walked through some things over the past 31 years with parenting and being married. You know how that goes, Linda. There's a lot to learn, and there's a lot that you learn up front, kind of at the beginning of your marriage. So we've walked all of this road, and we have a lot of experience to talk about, some wins and some losses, but we learned from them all, and we continue to. And I think that kind of helps us come with some thoughts, some ideas of what we've learned and kind of what we've put in place. Not that we have it all together, but we definitely have walked the road. And sometimes you need a guide that's walked a road ahead of you.
Absolutely. That's really what a mentor is all about.
Yeah.
Is somebody who can just walk alongside you, who's been there, kind of a guide who can say, hey, I've been there, understand, we've crossed that bridge before. And here's how you can get over it without making the same mistakes, that we've made or other people have made. So, and just real quick, Linda, I think it'd be great for you to even share with our podcast listeners as it relates to your background too. So give us a little bit of history and bio on Dr. Linda Travelute.
Yeah, sure. So I am an executive coach in the realm of leadership and personal development. I do coaching with CEOs and business owners and organizations, nonprofits as well as profits. But background, before that, I was a pastor for over 27 years.
That's incredible.
Happily married to Ted for 30. We're old, guys. We're old, right? So now
started.
I know. Yeah, no, we feel like we can keep up with the young guns. We can probably run circles around them. But we've got 2 grown kids, 28 and 24, and I'm not really good with numbers, so if they hear this and I got that wrong, I'm sorry, guys. But anyway, they're both grown and been through college, and our son is married to Andrea, and just enjoy the ups and downs of life as a family, and have done a lot of counseling. I've got a PhD in clinical psychology, so I've done a lot of counseling and therapy over the years with folks, and utilize that now in the coaching arena.
That's amazing.
And I'm just thrilled to be here to help add value to your podcast listeners.
That's amazing. So we've got 57, when we add it all together, we've got 57 years of marriage, right? No, you said 31.
So 30 and 30 is 60,
yes.
Right?
Over 60 years of marriage.
60, and then parenting somewhere in that 57 range.
Right.
So we got some years under our belt, but we do look very young.
We are young, yes.
That's right. Anti-aging cream's working. Like it. So with all of that said, it is truly our intent to, once again, not come across as though we've got it all figured out. But we do speak with a sense of experience, working with so many clients, people, individuals, parents, young people. It was one of the things I did for over 15 years, of speaking to over 2 million students in over 2,000 schools across the world. And, listening to, struggling parents who are confused, as I stated earlier, about so many things their kids are wrestling with, and then couples who my heart breaks for so many couples. And I think the thing that's affecting people more than anything is the fact that generationally, in fact, 19%, this is fascinating to me, 18%, according to the Daily Wire, 18% of American households are families with married parents. So I'm going to repeat that just to be clear here. Only 18% of American households today represent families with a husband and a wife that are actually married. And that's staggering to me when you think about the ripple effect and impact that generationally, many people have had. And I think what's happening and what's missing is that we now have second, third, potentially even now fourth generation of people who grew up without a father figure, who grew up with a blended family situation, who grew up, maybe without a mother, single family, single parent situation. So there are so many dynamics right now that are representing the so-called family unit. And the family unit means different things to a lot of different people today. And so with that, I think that's one of the reasons why there's so many stress points. That's the reason why there's so much confusion. I think that's the reason why a lot of the conflict at home leads over into conflicts at work, because a lot of the work dynamics when it comes to working with other people, dealing with conflict, confronting people, working and navigating through the complexities of working on teams, working with other people. A lot of people struggle with that because they never really learned how to deal with it at home. So they carry dysfunctional traits, if you will, into the workplace. And so again, there's so many things that are working against the family that it's taking its toll. And so we want to help families win again. We want to cross that line, that finish line, where we can look back and say, you know what? Thank God that we were able to make some pivots, and thank God that we were able to make some adjustments and changes that were desperately needed to help us overcome, a lot of things that maybe previous generations didn't overcome. But that's the reason why we believe you can start with the end in mind. Because it doesn't matter if you're divorced, married again, blended family, single parent, whatever you represent from the standpoint of your relational, marital, family status, you can start today. And in your own heart and in your own life, you can make a decision that regardless of what the past looks like, regardless of what my parents, were or were not, regardless of what kind of, struggles or hardships that I had to overcome or work through, as I love to say, yesterday ended last night. And tomorrow's pages are completely blank, which means right here, right now, right here in this episode, this podcast, you can start with a clean slate. And we want to help you start with the end in mind, knowing of what could be and should be, and knowing ultimately what the preferred future could be for you, for your spouse, for your kids, for your family, so that you can reach your God-given destination and potential. And again, cross that finish line to where we can say, we did it. By the grace of God, we did it. And we can look back having a sense of, pride in that we were able to leave a legacy that really matters.
That's the goal.
That is it. To me, that is the win, is a legacy.
That's right.
So Rodney, as you talk about legacy and people out there that are listening, they might think, wow, man, you're talking legacy and I can barely get it together day to day, right? And now you're talking about suggesting they create a vision. I mean, that sounds big. How can we unpack that for the listeners? And maybe, I think you have some questions, right? That you can help them with to guide them toward creating this vision that you're suggesting, right? Mm-hmm. How would you go about helping them with that?
Well, I think, I always encourage people to look at things from a spiritual perspective, because we were made by God. We were made for God. life will never, ever make sense. We can never really truly reach our full potential until we first and foremost understand what God's plan and purpose is for our lives. Otherwise, we're just assuming. Otherwise, we're just kind of taking matters in our own hands and giving it our best shot and hoping it all works out in the end. But that's the reason why in Proverbs 29, verse 18, it says, where there is no vision, the people perish. So when you don't have a vision for your life, for your future, for your marriage, for your family, your kids, well, hopes die, dreams die, marriages die, relationships don't, reach their potential. And it's all because we never had a clear picture of what could be or should be. Yeah. So that's the reason why we encourage anybody, and on an individual basis, as a couple, and it doesn't matter if you've been married for 25 years or if you're, just getting started, you're thinking about marriage. It doesn't matter really what age, stage, season you're in. Once again, I think a lot of people, it would be helpful on so many different levels for them just to stop and think about, okay, I can't go back and change what's happened in the past. Okay, what's happened has happened, but I'm not going to be a victim of my past.
Right.
So therefore, if I could rewrite the script, and if I could somehow push replay or reset, it maybe is a better word. If I could just push reset and I could paint a picture of what the ideal would look like moving forward, okay, now we can start coming up with a plan on how to actually accomplish that.
Most companies and businesses absolutely do that. They get a vision and mission statement written down, but we don't do it as families, and I think we were so blessed to have mentors in our early years of marriage that spoke about this and having a game plan for your family, and that, mom and dad get to decide that and kind of get to put the ground rules in place for the kids. And that was just a huge blessing to us, I think, early on in our marriage. And we're blessed, obviously, as well, to have great parents that kind of lived it out. But I don't know that they actually put this in place, that a vision and a mission for the family. And what are some things that people can ask, to kind of get that ball rolling?
Yeah, I always just really just to simplify, there are 4 things that I think, would be very helpful and productive.
Yeah.
You can apply these same principles to your business if you're a business owner, but,
right.
I believe the most important business is your home.
Yes.
And I think it really does begin there. So think about this for a moment. So ask yourself this first question, and that is, what is our purpose? Why do we exist as a couple? Why do we exist as a family? What is our reason for being, for existing? Is it just here to take up time and space? Is it to make a lot of money? Is it to get a good education? Why are we here? What are we trying to be? What are we trying to accomplish?
It's been said, if you got a pulse, you got a purpose.
Exactly.
We all have a purpose in life. And when 2 people come together, there's a blending of that. And that's why it's really kind of important too, when you're dating somebody, that you have really some ideas of where you're going as an individual, and are you guys on the same path to the same purpose?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's just really, really important, because that's the starting block.
Yes, and I love that. One of my favorite all-time quotes is by Yogi Berra, who said, "If you don't know where you're going, you could end up somewhere else." And so I think that's where a lot of people, they end up at a place they never thought they would end up.
Yeah.
Nobody, I've done countless weddings over the last 20 plus years, and I've never met a couple who went into a marriage relationship with a strategic plan in place saying 5 years from now, we're going to get a divorce.
Mm. Wow.
No, they go in with the idea that they're gonna live happily ever after, right? But then so often by year 2 or 3, things don't work out the way they thought it would, like they thought it was gonna work out. Yeah. And I think a lot of the reason for that is because they didn't really go into the marriage. I always tell young couples, spend less time preparing for your wedding and spend more time preparing for your marriage.
Yes.
And I think that's what happens is a lot of people just never stop and think about why are we getting married? What's the purpose of marriage? What is the purpose of having a family? Who do we want to be? So these are huge questions. So first question I would always encourage anybody to ask is just really start there is, what is our purpose? Why are we here? Why do we exist? Number two would be, who do we want to become? So who do I want to be as a dad? If I have kids, who do you want to be as a mom if you have children?
Husband and wife.
Yeah, who do I want to be as a husband, or who do I want to be as a wife? Yeah. These are, and because to me that's an important thing to understand, because now I'm going to have to make some decisions when it comes to my character, when it comes to my choices, when it comes to how I choose to live my life. How the choices I make is going to reflect the values or the character qualities of, if you will, of my life. And so what do I want to be known for? And I think that is a very important question that a lot of people, just maybe overlook. They don't take maybe that question really serious when it comes to, who do I want to be? How do I want my life to be represented? A third question might be, where are we going? So, if you have a clear path or destiny of where you ultimately want to go, when it comes to maybe spiritually, when it comes to, some goals that you want to achieve, maybe financially, educationally, professionally. We put together something in our book called The Family Shift, called the goals tree. Right. And there's like 5 branches to a tree representing 5 specific areas or categories in life that we can establish goals as a family. But all of these things help us really have a preferred future. And we just encourage people to write those things down. Kind of like the old vision board, approach, where you write it out. That's what the book of Habakkuk tells us to do. Habakkuk chapter 2, just write it on tablets, put it plain, simple words. So it's portable, it's memorable, and you've got it in front of you that serves as a constant reminder. This is who we are. This is who we're striving to become. This is where we're going. And as a result, it leads me to the last thing, and that is, how are we going to get there? And that's where we just break down on a day by day, week by week, year by year, living with intentionality. And so, when we do that, it allows us to have a greater sense of passion, puts, energy into our life, energy into our marriage, energy into our family relationships.
Yeah, it's so important to think about those things. I know, Dr. Linda, I've heard you speak on this as well, as far as just having time to think. Yeah. Sit and think about this. Because we move so fast through life, no matter what season of life you're in. Maybe you are starting out in your marriage, or maybe you've been married 30 years like we have, or maybe you're in the grandparent stage. Yeah. Really, it doesn't matter if we're starting with the end in mind. We're starting today, just to sit and think a moment. Give yourself some space to think about. Mm-hmm. Like right now, I think we're in a new season, with adult kids and empty nest. Well, what is it that has shifted? What things have shifted for us? And we've got to sit and think about where the preferred future for us is. It's the same goal, and the same goal is in mind, but you got to make space and time, like you said, to write things down and think about that.
Yeah. And as we go through different seasons and stages, of life, and we'll have future episodes where we'll unpack a lot of those things in and of themselves, because there are different stages of marriage or different stages and seasons of parenting that, they all require, different levels of time and commitment and, roles and all of the responsibilities that we all, carry into that. But that's the reason why it's important that we keep the end in mind, so that we don't get distracted. And so, I think today, if anything, as we wrap up our time together, I think it's just a matter of us understanding that as a family, as a couple, I think we need to really start thinking about our future. And regardless of where you are, doesn't matter whether you're, again, a single parent, blended family situation, maybe you've been married for many, many years, or you're thinking about getting married. Let me just encourage you to start today take some time, evaluate, maybe take your spouse on a date, maybe have a family. We used to call it a family powwow.
Yes.
Get everybody together and
fun.
go around the room and have them give input. Ask some of those same questions to them. Let them speak into that, because the more they can participate and articulate, the more ownership they're going to take that serious. And when we, again, the family unit is a team, a couple is a team, we're working together. So it's not about me, it's about we. It's just using the language that we're all in this together. And so it's like the old acronym, together, everyone achieves more. So
team.
Yeah. So we're a team family. And so let's all get on the same page. Let's have a common purpose. Let's have this future, this preferred future that we're all working together collectively to achieve in our lives, because we want to leave a legacy that's going to truly impact future generations as well.
Yeah, it's like writing down your goals too. I love what you have said, Linda, and maybe you can speak into this, is that high achieving people look at their goals once a day or even twice a day. Can you speak to that a second? Because like as a family, if you write that down and you look at that as parents,
Yeah, well, the studies have shown, and I don't know the specific statistics right off the top of my head, but there's been a lot of research on this. Those that write down their goals once have a higher percentage of achieving those. But if you write them down twice a day, so I'm talking like you write them down in the morning, every morning, you're more likely to achieve them because they're in front of your face, right? Like when I was a kid, we didn't have cell phones. Yes, I'm dating myself, but I would read the back of a cereal box or a Pop-Tart box. Yes, I ate Pop-Tarts, no more. But okay, so my point is this. I would read the back of that box every morning because it was in my face. And I can still tell you to this day what is on the back of that Pop-Tart box because I memorized it. It was in my face. So the power of revisiting something every day gets it etched in your head, in your mind, in your heart. Yeah. And so think about how powerful that is when you have goals and visions for your marriage and family, and you're looking at that every day. Can I just share one of mine? One of mine is I want to love my husband and my children unconditionally. I say that every day. And then if I say it again at night, I say it in the morning, I say it again at night, I am much more likely to do it because I'm repeating it twice, right? I mean, I'm hearing it. I'm saying it, I'm speaking, I'm hearing it. But I think the stat the thing that you heard me talk about one time was that millionaires will write their goals down once a day. People that write them twice a day end up becoming billionaires. Okay. So if that
we're doing it
absolutely.
Right,
so if that's
here we go.
If that is so powerful in the business arena or in finance, think about what that can do for your family and your marriage. You're looking at that and reminding yourself every day, I am going to be a faithful spouse. I'm going to love my husband unconditionally, even if he forgets to take the trash out, even if he ticks me off, I'm going to love him anyway. You know, when you say that out loud, you have to do it.
That's right.
So good.
So when every day start with the end in mind. So that's a good way to do it. Just write it out and read over it. And if you really want to take it next level, you can end the day with the end in mind as well. And write it one more time. That's great, Linda.
That's good.
Vision leaks, as they say. I think the Nehemiah principle in the book of Nehemiah, they built the wall in 52 days, but it was when the wall reached half its height, when they were getting tired and weary and frustrated and they wanted to throw in the towel and give up. Nehemiah circled them back together and said, guys, here's the deal. We're going to finish this wall. In 52 days, they did it. It was at the halfway point, day 26, he had to recast a vision, infuse hope, inspiration, encouragement, because life happens and it's easy to get defeated, distracted, discouraged. But the good news is when we have a plan and we work that plan and we just get up every day with God's help to do the right thing, God's with us, he's for us. And he's not going to let us fail because he wants us to succeed. He wants us to win.
Yes.
And that's our goal.
Yes.
That's our prayer for this podcast, that
Absolutely.
it will be an encouragement to you. The day 26, the encouragement that you can do it.
That's right. That's right. Well, we want to thank you for being with us today. And as we wrap up our time together, we want to say thank you for this. This is the very first episode. So if you're listening or watching, this is special, not just for us, but for you. You got in on the first episode,
That's
right?
awesome.
So be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions that you'd like Rodney and Michelle to answer in future episodes, we want to know what those are. And so we'd again appreciate it if you'd subscribe and rate and review so we know we're on track and delivering content that's helpful. And as promised, listen, here's the goodie, right? Can we give a goodie away?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're going to give you a free copy. I said free, a free copy of the Family Shift book when you subscribe to Rodney and Michelle's monthly mentoring program. And that's called the Double Win Club. I love that. The Double Win Club. And the first 30 days is free. So you're giving a lot of free stuff today, right?
Yes.
A lot of free stuff. So head on over to thedoublewin.club.com. That's thedoublewin.club.com to learn more about Rodney and Michelle's family mentoring program. It's the ultimate double win, the ultimate double win. So we want to say thank you once again. Thank you guys. You've shared some amazing wisdom today. And we now thank you for joining us on this first episode. And until next time, we hope to help you win at family, at home, and a win in life. And I totally botched that, but that's okay, right?
That's a triple win right there. I love it.
Triple win.
Yeah, we want to help you win at home and win at life.
Awesome.
See you next time.